Hello and welcome to another episode of Living in Tucson, your Tucson Real Estate Connection. And in this episode, I'm going to go over 5 things to consider when buying a home. Hello, my name's Tyler Ford, Tucson, Arizona with eXp Realty. And again, welcome to another episode. In this episode, I'm going to go over the 5 things to consider when buying a home. But before we dive into it, I want to define buying a home. It's not actually closing on a home, but it's before you write an offer and go under contract. There's 5 things to consider. And number 5, the last one that I'm going to go over is the big one that I really want to focus on. It's the biggest mistake I think that a lot of people make. They get excited, and as a result of their excitement, they end up spending and wasting some money. So again, let's dive on into it. First thing I want to talk about and things to consider before buying a home is being competitive. And in any market, cash offers are typically more competitive than a buyer coming in that's getting a mortgage and financing it. So this is more geared towards somebody that is getting a mortgage and not paying cash. And it's really important before you submit an offer to have a pre-approval, sit down with the lender or pick up the phone, and they can do a lot of it right over the phone and get you pre-approved. But the one big thing, and a lot of people make the big mistake, is they go out shopping for a mortgage and they choose a lender that might be a big bank or somebody that's not local, that doesn't really have a good reputation. And as the listing agent, if you're on the other side and the listing agent and they get multiple offers, they're going to consult with their seller in terms of which offers are best. And if you submit a pre-approval with a lender that the local agents don't know, they're going to persuade their seller to maybe choose a different offer. So it's really important to get pre-approved, in my opinion, with a local lender that has a really good reputation. So the other side, meaning the other side, the listing agent and the seller, feels confident that if you are submitting an offer where you're getting a mortgage, you've got a really good lender behind you that's got a good reputation, that's going to get the deal done and also communicate. Pick up the phone, answer questions, get out the pre-approvals, get the loan status updates out. So again, they're more likely to take your offer if you're with a local, reputable lender, which is really important. The second thing to consider when before buying a home is setting up your home search parameters. And going back to the first one in terms of getting pre-approved, one benefit to getting pre-approved up front is you'll know how much home you can afford, so you're not wasting time looking at homes that don't fit your budget. So again, talking to your lender and getting that in place as the first thing is really important. And then the second thing is really thinking through what's important to you. And so when I'm working with clients, I have a questionnaire that I send out that gets really specific in terms of what it is that you're looking for, which then better helps me serve you. So it saves everybody time. So some things to consider is school district, size of the lot, whether you want a 1-story, 2-story, pool, no pool. So there's all these things that go into the search parameters, HOA versus no HOA. I mean, everybody's got their absolute, if this home has this, there's no way I'm looking at it. So if you identify those things up front, then it makes it easier for everybody in the process. Sometimes people are adamant about no dirt roads, or they want a 3-car garage, or pool versus no pool. So again, really important to really think through what it is that you're looking for in a home, which will save you a lot of time when searching for that perfect home. The third thing to consider before writing an offer and buying a home is, this goes back to number 2 in terms of search criteria. There's a lot of people where they are looking for solar. And although solar is great, the one thing to consider is if it's not owned but it's leased, it could be a liability rather than an asset. So before writing an offer on a home, if it does have solar and it's leased, make sure you get a copy of that lease up front and go over it to make sure that it's something that you can live with. Because again, a lot of these leased solar packages, in my opinion, just don't pencil. They don't make sense because your payment actually goes up. In a lot of cases, your monthly payment sometimes will exceed what your TEP electric bill could potentially be. So again, really pay attention. If it does have solar, make sure you get that lease before writing the offer so you're not wasting time and money down the road. The fourth thing to consider before writing an offer on a home is its future resale value and the rate at which it will appreciate, which at the end of the day is going to put more money in your pocket down the road. And a lot of people don't know this. The national average, the time that somebody stays in a home before selling it, is 5 years. So I can guarantee down the road at some point, you're probably going to sell the home that you're buying. So you really want to pay attention to some things that can have a dramatic impact on being able to sell that home quickly and at the rate that it's going to appreciate. And a good agent can help and talk you through a lot of those things. But some of the things are school district. That has a big role in the future value of a home, whether a home's in a floodplain or not. If a home's in a floodplain, if somebody's getting a mortgage, if they're paying cash, they don't necessarily have to get the flood insurance. But if they're getting a mortgage and they have to get flood insurance, it can have an impact on the buyer's debt to income ratio and limit the amount of buyers that could actually qualify for the house, whether it's in an HOA or not. And if it is, a lot of times over 5 years, HOAs are going to go up. So again, there's a lot of things to consider. So again, before you write an offer on a home, you really want to think through its future potential resale value. And again, at the rate at which it's going to appreciate, which again is going to turn into a good investment and put the most amount of money in your pocket. Because at the end of the day, it's a home that you're going to be owner occupied. If you've lived in it for 2 years, you don't have to pay capital gains. So again, it's a really important thing to think about before writing an offer on a home and buying a home. The fifth thing to consider before writing an offer is the expenses. And there's various expenses when buying a home. You've got your expenses that you're going to incur during the inspection process. And then you have your down payment. That's the down payment, your loan to value. And then you also have various closing costs, title and escrow and lender fees. And those are typically on your closing statement. But what I want to focus on here is not the expenses that are on your closing statement, the down payment, the escrow and title, and the lender fees. For the purpose of this video, I want to focus in on the money that you're going to spend during the inspection. And I see a lot of people get excited about a home, they write an offer, they go under contract, and then you've got an inspection period. And during this period, you're going to be spending money on the main inspection, sewer scope, termite report, various inspections. Typically roof inspections are free, but you're going to be spending probably $600 to maybe $800 on various inspections. And so one thing that I encourage you to do is before you write an offer, you really want to pay attention to the details of a home, the deferred maintenance items that could be budget deal busters at the end of the day if a seller will not do them. So for example, let's say you're looking at a home and the roof looks like it's in pretty rough shape, and you can kind of get a feel for that. And throughout the inspection process, you discover the roof shot. And when you submit the Benzer, and I'll put a link right here because the Benzer is the most difficult part of buying and selling a home. So when you submit the Benzer to the seller asking for a new roof, if the seller won't do it, you've got you can walk away from the deal, and now you've spent all this money that you're never going to get back. Or the seller, won't do it, and now you're going to do it. So you've really got to pay attention. And it's one thing if a seller prices a home knowing that there's deferred maintenance and reduces it by that. But again, you've got to have the money because you can't finance that in. So if you're getting a good deal and you know you're going to be doing things, you've got to have the money in cash to be able to do that. And the other big question is, at the end of the day, when you spend that money, are you going to have equity left over and not be upside down on a home? So the big takeaway for the fifth thing to consider is really pay attention to the details of the home and the deferred maintenance items that could be deal busters, and have a conversation with your agent. And then the agent could potentially call the listing agent saying, hey, this roof looks like it's in pretty rough shape. Do you think your seller, when we do the inspection, would replace the roof? So things to consider. And again, when you go under contract, there's going to be money that you're going to spend that you could potentially have to walk away from. So the main purpose of number 5 is to get people to pay attention to the little details before writing an offer, and just realize that at the end of the day, they could have to walk away from money spent and have to start the process all over again. And again, just have to walk away from that money. So sometimes it's better to walk away from $500 to $600 to buy a home that needs a bunch of work that's going to cost you a lot of money. So again, just something to consider. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video on 5 things to consider before writing an offer on a home. And again, number 5 is the big one, just trying to help people save money so they don't have to walk away from a deal and have wasted money. So just really pay attention to the home and the deferred maintenance items before writing a home. But if you got value out of this video, do me a huge favor. Give me an internet high five by liking it. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and comment below. And for more awesome videos about living in Tucson, your Tucson real estate connection, subscribe to the channel. And if you hit the bell button each and every time a video comes out, you'll be notified. In the meantime, make it a great day.